So Humphrey, before we start, did you watch Star Trek Discovery?
I did not. Hello and welcome to Hardcast. Join us as we travel the globe to kill off the enemy vine plantings, one by one. I'm Humphrey Erm.
And I'm Christian Claus.
Lifeline. Give me Exo Manowar, Volume 11, The Kill List.
Issue 43. Arik and Ninjak blow up a plantling's face with his phone while he's giving a presentation. Because we always want to show the cool part at the beginning of our media, we flash back to earlier where Ninjak and Arik get their mission and are filled in on who the plantlings are. We then flash back forward to right after the explosion to see how Arik and Ninjak escape the facility and leave a message for Trill on a dead body.
Right, so been a long wait since our last Exo Manowar adventure.
I honestly cannot remember.
That was the whole thing now with the whole refugee crisis with the Vine and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember kind of what was going on, but I have no idea when it was, how long it took, all that kind of stuff. Just because, we do this for so long, we do so many things, it just all kind of blends together.
Yeah, part of me almost wonders if we, obviously it wouldn't work even at first, or it wouldn't work eventually if we were to read just one series in a row. Just Exo Manowar all the way to the end.
Yeah, of course.
So, but still, it's nice being back to the thing, because like I mentioned in the last episode of Exo Manowar, I'm glad everything wasn't just fixed by the end of the volume.
Yeah.
It was just too much stuff going on for it to be you know what, Arik, you're right. We shouldn't fight.
And also that would be really bad writing for a, show.
Exactly.
Or for a comic. You can't just be hey, everything's great now.
Oh, you just gotta love the two boys playing.
Yeah, they totally set that up. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's so typical with these kind of things where you have... it's always when you have these kind of stories where these two people who just don't understand each other come together, but then the children meet and they don't care because they're just children. They just want someone to play with.
Have they ever met children before? They can be real assholes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Children don't see race and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, they even did it I feel like that kind of stuff is just so prevalent in our media. I mean, we just recently started watching Riverdale, and it's really good. We don't have anything else to watch right now, so we were just hey, why don't we just watch Riverdale? Let's see if we like the first episode, and it was so good. Oh my god.
All right. Yeah, no, there's a friend of mine at the studio who likes it too.
Yeah, and they also have that in there too. This whole, two families absolutely hate each other, the Montagues and the Capulets, and then their son and daughter get together and have a relationship, and they're all against it and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's sweet in that sense. I mean, it kind of gets the point, even if it's very unsubtle about it. It gets the point across about you know what, it's not about the surface level details.
Yeah, and they didn't drag it out.
It's one page. It's nice.
Yeah, and then they mention it again at the end, or they kind of show it at the end, in the fourth issue of this volume, and it's fine. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just yeah, here's them building a fence, and then there's the two boys who play with each other. But also, I think it's really weird that the Visigoth gets to be Exo Manowar. In the game that they play.
Oh.
So it's you be the refugee and I'll be the hero.
He said bad guys, Chris. You're the one putting words in his mouth.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff like that, but it's sweet. What do you think of the Armorines?
Buy our toys.
Where, Valiant? Where?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of toys, just yesterday it was found out that that my girlfriend won the Fan Art Friday thing on the Valiant or the Valiant fan group on Facebook.
Woo!
Really proud of her. Yeah, it's awesome. And I just love how all these people are just reacting to it like, where can we buy your prints of these models? Like, so many people are asking about it, and she's actually considering putting it up online somewhere where then people can get it. And then I was actually checking on Valiant, and I think they only have 1 or 2 figures, like officially licensed figurines. Is that right?
I don't know. I'm usually not too interested in like figurines and stuff. Though if I did come across some Valiant ones, I definitely would consider buying.
I mean, they made a big deal out of a Bloodshot one. Like, that was their first Valiant figurine.
Oh yeah, but those are those like really fancy ones, isn't it?
Oh, by the way, can we just quickly? Yeah, it was one of those really fancy ones. Can we just quickly mention the new news coming out of Valiant Entertainment or Valiant Comics?
The Warren Simons thing now?
Yes.
Actually, how much do they have left from the original team now? Not mentioning like artists and writers, maybe. Because like Matt Kint is still on and all that.
Yeah.
But like all the higher up stuff seems to be removed now.
Yeah. I've been kind of following it a little bit online just because it's all rumors so far. I mean, I don't think anyone's officially said anything yet. But there are a lot of people who are very, very negative about this news.
I don't blame them.
I mean, I don't blame them either. I'm also kind of nervous. I actually am. And I'm just getting into Valiant.
Just in time. But it's good in one way, Chris. That means you have a cutoff point where you don't have to buy anymore.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I kind of want to continue. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, again, looking back at like DC and Marvel, they've had a lot of huge restructurings through their history.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, sometimes it might have been like a temporary dark age. So where like they made some mandates that just didn't work out in the long run. But otherwise, other times, you switch people up and suddenly like, whoa, finally they're putting things back on track. Or,
yeah,
well, don't you know that, this character was introduced during his, tenure as, editor-in-chief? So again, I'm not...
Is it technically a tenure?
Well, I don't know. It sounded right in my head, but...
I mean, because tenure means you can't get fired.
All right, during their reign, yes.
All right, I'll allow that. But yeah, I mean, we just have to kind of hold tight and see what comes out of Valiant, like what happens now. I mean, people were saying that this is a claim all over again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm hoping that they just kind of leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, I feel that I've never had that issue with DC and Marvel in the same degree, where they suddenly changed up everything just for the sake of, like, synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it happens, sure. When the first Spider-Man movie comes out, suddenly comic book Peter Parker gets organic web fluid.
Well, yeah, of course.
And then it disappears, and oh god, it's so great. I mean, it's not great, but it's great just the convolutedness of it. Same thing with Spider-Man 3 coming out. Suddenly he gets his black suit again. Actually, I think Spider-Man's the one that they always do that. But like with Batman, I never really come across like, oh, the Dark Knight's come out. We gotta have a good Joker story right now. It's like, no, just keep on trucking, Batman. Yeah,
but I mean, it's like with Batman, you can't really go wrong. But anyway, we're going off topic. Armories. I kind of like them, but probably only because I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. And it does feel very Power Ranger-y to me.
Is it the colors?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's always one of those things when you have like these suits and specific colored suits, and then you have, whatever, 5 people, then it's kind of like, well, he's kind of Power Ranger-y. I don't know if you've been on Netflix lately, but they have a new show that's coming out. I mean, they have a new show coming out like every week. But it's like some sort of, like I was watching the trailer for it because it was on like the header screen, and it was 5 teenagers who then go into a digital world or something like that, and then they're just Power Rangers. Like it's literally Power Rangers. They have, it's the red guy is the leader, and it's just Power Rangers. And I was just sitting there just laughing because it was a bad version of Power Rangers, and that's saying something because Power Rangers is already bad. But yeah, I mean, I like these as much as we've seen from them because we haven't really seen that much, honestly. We just saw them. I'm assuming we're going to see a lot more of what they can do in the next volume because at the end of the 4th issue of this volume, it's just when the fight kind of starts off, and we kind of see them just doing crowd control in this issue so far. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, it's a government thing, so they're just soldiers. And honestly, I never really liked that because very often those stories turn into these are your orders, soldier, you better do what I say kind of thing. And then they do stupid stuff that you wouldn't want them to do. And we got a little bit of this here with when one of the guys was talking to the captain or the commander or whatever, like kind of talking back to him, and he was just like, do what you're told, soldier, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't really like that. I like my heroes to be heroic, obviously. And but who knows? I mean, I still have my hopes up for them that they're not going to just become another government stooge, which would they just follow orders and make bad decisions and then could become the villains later because they're just following orders.
Yeah, no, that was a lot more than I had to say about them. For me, it's just well, I just like it when things aren't forgotten about. Like there was a whole thing in Volume 8 about that guy and his Armorines company.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, it's now like, yeah, here we go. We actually have them because this is good technology to use.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more in the sense of world building and the world persistence, I guess. Because, I want new things all the time in terms of like expanding, but you can't forget what's happened also, I feel.
Well, yeah.
I also like the whole thing with Arik grabbing Capshaw and like flying up with her.
Yeah.
And it's just fun when you have a super serious character and then they indulge themselves in something like, I wouldn't say juvenile necessarily, but, frivolous.
Yeah, but what was it that she said, like just this once or something like that?
Yeah, this one time.
Yeah.
It was cute. I mean, even her little guilty look in the middle panel there.
Yeah.
Would you
just
mind?
Looking around, is anyone watching? And then just how happy she is flying like that. It's like, yay. But isn't she a pilot? Isn't that how she started off?
I don't know. I can't remember. She's always been the Colonel Capshaw, so...
Yeah, but I mean, there must have been some sort of backstory to her at some point.
I don't think we've really heard
I kind of have in my memory somehow that she was a...
You might think of the last Manowar volume with that pilot that she orders. I guess the pilot who gets post-traumatic stress disorder.
I don't know.
I mean, it would fit her, but I mean, she's really, honestly, out of all the characters, she's almost the most stock.
Yeah.
The grumpy general person guy.
You mean person girl, Humphrey?
A guy can be gender neutral. So, but that's fun. But the thing is, it's just a weird thing, though, because even though we know the context of the whole mission, like, okay, there are these vine plant things that look like humans and they're undermining the whole structure, or, they're the enemy.
Yeah.
But it just feels so weird seeing them, like, I mean, killing that guy in the beginning is like, damn, that's like a villain thing.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you do in GTA.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I forgot that mission.
Yeah, like literally that is one of the missions where you have to kill the guy who does Life Invader, I think it is called in GTA.
Yeah, doing the whole, like, I guess, Zuckerberg thing or something.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like, and that's something I've discussed many times throughout our episodes regarding Valiant, because they don't have this branding really of like, oh, these goody two-shoe heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if Batman did that, actually, even if they're aliens, going around killing people like that is just kind of like, ooh, kind of grim there.
Oh, but they did it in Batman vs. Superman.
No, did they?
Yeah.
I mean, he burnt, he branded people, but did he kill?
Oh, yeah, he killed a lot of people.
Oh, right, those. Yeah, but that's not...
that doesn't count.
No, that's like heat of the moment stuff for me. This is like so calculated and like
I don't know. I mean, I think flying with your jet across over a bunch of people and firing a machine gun into the crowd.
Rubber bullets. Really?
Yeah. These are my bad bullets.
I'm shooting bats at them.
Yeah. And it's actually like wooden bats just flinging around.
Oh, they're great. But yeah, I don't know.
What? I
Just kind
said
of
they were
gets a
bats.
little. It's just the visual of it all, though. Here,
Yeah, not only that, but also, I mean, this is super violent. I mean, even at the end when they're confronted by the vine plantlings, and they had that whole thing with the prey has already been killed. I will not slaughter innocents. And then it's just, and the next page, or like in 2 pages, he literally slices 2 people in two.
mm.
And I mean, yeah, yes, they're not technically innocent, but they are also kind of following orders. And I mean, yes, they also want to kill him and stuff like that. But still, I just think for someone who talks about not killing innocents and not wanting to kill people, it kind of feels like if I'm not going to kill innocent people, it's like I'm only going to kill people who have done something specifically wrong to me, or it's the mission or whatever. But the way he like slices these people in two and then smashes a guy's head into a wall, like squishing it with a literal sound effect of splutch. I don't know. I think that's a little bit excessive on Eric's part too.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where I mean, Ninja gives a good point there. How does he say it? You're in a suit of indestructible alien armor. I'm me. So, like, I can understand Ninjak, being a bit more violent with it all. But with X of Manowar, it really feels like, some guy in an MMO who comes in like fully leveled and with the latest gear.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like, yeah, kill everyone. Like, dude, you don't have to. They can't hurt you.
Yeah, but I mean, in some sense, this could also be seen as Ninjak saying, like, dude, you got to help me here, or else I'm going to be dead.
That's true. Yeah, again, it's not to say that. It just kind of... Honestly, I think it's simply the visual, the fact that they look human. Like, if they look like the Vine, then it's like, okay, yeah, there's the monsters.
Yeah, true.
So, especially also the fact that... Because, these Vine plant things, they're not like the Skrull during Secret Invasion. Where it's kind of like...
Yeah, they are human. I mean, they're human born, basically. They are...
Exactly.
Yeah.
They must have families and such.
Right.
So, working, friends, and, even if it's all kind of like... I can't believe even the bad ones, that all their relationships are fake, so to speak.
Well, I don't think any of their relationships are fake in that sense. I mean, don't most of them not know that they're vine plantlings?
No, they all know.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't it one of those things that they only knew that later?
No, I think they always knew.
But how did they get that information when they were babies?
Either something that's just like intrinsically inside of them, or they already have people in place to kind of give them information. Probably the gathering, the whole mind meld thing. I'm sure as babies I'm sure babies would naturally kind of enter it, when they're napping.
Yeah.
And then they would be told.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, because I mean it's a cool concept otherwise. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that as well. Someone realizing that they're actually part of an, infiltrating force.
Yeah.
But in this case, I don't think it is. I can't remember any instance of like Alexander, for example, which I do like his appearance here. I mean, I honestly think that's for a lot of readers, including you, maybe. Hey, Alexander, how you been? Haven't seen you since you tried to stop me from getting caught up in World War III in Romania. Like, everyone forgets this guy exists.
Yeah, I forgot he existed.
I knew it. When I just read that, I was like, oh, probably Chris forgot.
Well, of course. I mean, I don't even remember what happened last issue.
But again, I just like that. It's... Again, that's the whole thing with a shared universe like this. You want to keep all these details afloat.
Yeah, of course.
Issue 44. A vine plantling escapes to a safe house in Barcelona, only to find it most definitely not safe, with Ninjak having killed them all. Him and Auric do a selfie of sorts to Trill, who decides it's time to come forward. Meanwhile, a human girl is interacting with a vine child through the fence. Both very amicable until the girl's parents throw dirt at the vine and take her away. Many Nebraskans are protesting the vine's presence on their land, but they are pushed back by the Armorines. The priest is inside the divine gathering, preaching to his followers, only to be interrupted by Trill himself, who begins to turn the vine to his side. Meanwhile, Auric and Ninjak infiltrate the last stronghold in Portugal, with Auric making a rather bombastic entrance before being surrounded by vine plantings. So same thing here too, like, I don't know, I know that they're the bad guys, I know all the stuff they've done, but seeing your hero in a room with bloody swords and all these dead bodies, like, again, I like the Punisher and stuff, so it's not like I'm against, protagonists being like that. But I guess with the Punisher, there's always a certain, regardless of how silly it could get, there's always this sort of sense of seriousness, I feel. But here you kind of still have a bit of the whole, sort of superhero equipping. And again, it just it's just an odd thing. Like I said, I'm not really saying it's good or bad. Like if I'm giving a score, this is neither, plus or minus. But it is an odd feeling seeing all this.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the grim little pragmatic stuff with him, Ninja cutting off his hand and using it to open the door.
Yeah, this ain't your children's comic.
Again, very few of them have been for many years.
But they still bleep out the swear words.
Well, again, Chris, a kid could very easily replicate that. They can repeat swear words, but they can't repeat this violence.
I'd be surprised with I wouldn't be surprised with all the news coming out of America.
But yeah, little topical stuff here. So with the Finns and what's called people angry about certain people being there.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that again is believable. It's not that. I'm not going to be here like anyone would be upset about that.
Right.
And honestly, in universe too, the fact that there was that whole miscommunication with that pilot, and then the Trill, what's called the Vineling, the Vine working under Trill doing things, including shooting the priest. It's obviously.
What about the entire Vine invasion that happened?
Oh yeah, no, exactly. So again, I don't.
Yeah, it's like a huge, massive news story that happened like a year ago, and now suddenly they're supposed to live on our land. Come on.
No, but exactly. Like in universe, it's not that easy.
What would the slur be for the Vinelings?
Look at you, 6 eyes.
Yeah, I'm thinking like something bug related. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe prawns, like in District 9.
Prawns. Yeah, whatever.
So, but I don't know. It's a believable thing, and the only thing I think, because I'm not entirely sure the time frame, because I think from the last volume's events to here, I don't think it's been that much time. Like I think a few days at most.
Wait, from what to what?
From the first volume, or not first volume, sorry, the previous volume.
Oh yeah, well that I can believe, yeah, a couple of days, yeah.
And I think that's the thing here is like, again, I'm not saying that people wouldn't be able to mobilize. Apparently these guys are farmers who live around there, so, of course, they could easily come over there once they hear the news. But everything's happening so quickly that you don't really have time for things to truly get, what would the word be, tense?
Oh, no. I mean, people can get very tense very quickly.
I suppose. I don't know, just like any kind of story like this, it tends to move very quickly.
I mean, when the referee crisis started happening here in Germany, no one was sitting back going like, you know what, let's see how this develops. No one was saying that. It was immediately everyone was up in arms and shouting and being racist and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's not that, but it's more about the sense of I don't know. I guess it's just the sort of like the story convention, like getting things moving, getting the points across. So, like, I've been listening to some audiobooks recently, and I've forgotten about like how prose can tell a story much slower
Mm-hmm.
because you can, in a more natural way, just kind of gloss over time. Like the equivalent of a montage can be done a lot more smoother, I feel, in prose than it would be in like a comic,
Yeah.
without it feeling like, oh man, wasting a lot of like space here, or like, can we get to it? I think that's my main thing. Is like, okay, they arrive, the whole kerfuffle happens, things are tense, and now me and Ninja are gonna go and kill all these Vine. I don't know, it just feels very quick when you look at it like as the big picture, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel that way because I feel it's a retaliation to the militaristic strike that they just witnessed or that they had to feel. I don't believe it is at all. Like in a time wise, it's not wrong at all. I mean, is that's the thing. They got attacked, and now they have to find the counterattack, and they immediately had all the intel that they needed. So, yeah, why not immediately mobilize? They had no reason to think that there was a threat from the refugees. So, yeah, they immediately started going after the big guy.
Yeah, no, again, I don't know. It's just some thoughts I had while reading, and then of course the whole confrontation within the Vine gathering. Yeah. So I gotta say, like, Trill definitely makes a good case in terms of like what they are aware of. Since he's not, of course, revealing the fact that it's his people that have been doing all these things, like including shooting the priest.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I'm not saying that as like amazing, oh, a villain lies. So groundbreaking. But in terms of it feels natural because I always find it tricky when you have scenes like this in any story, because you kind of have like a guy you kind of trust and has been like a good guy, and suddenly everyone kind of like turns to the bad guy. But within here, it works. They've been under a lot of stress. All the fighting and such, and then thinking back to better times and like. So with Trill then coming in offering that, it feels a lot. It feels believable. Like I'm not annoyed.
Member,
Hmm?
member, the member berries.
I thought you were doing.
Remember when Star Wars was good? Yeah, remember that?
I thought you were saying like MAGA,
What?
Make America Great Again.
Oh, well, that too.
Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna try to get a hold of this parody comic that I came across. My Hero Magademia,
Oh, God.
starring Walmite.
Oh, God.
And it seems to be pretty well drawn too, so it's not like like just a shitty MS Paint thing or anything, which makes it even better, because anyone can doodle something crappy.
Yeah. But for someone to actually put real effort in and...
That's what makes it so much stronger.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know really. I don't even know the stance of it, if it's like making fun of him or not.
It's actually a pro-Trump thing, and now you've just outed yourself.
Again, I wouldn't know, but I like puns. Like you could get me to say and do awful things in value or in the service of wordplay.
Well, good to know for future reference.
Oh, that is such an awful slur, but oh, the wordplay, so good. No, but it's again, this is pre the 2016 election, so it's not like this would be what it's about. And again, it's not like that's a unique incident in the world's history, anyways. But yeah, you get him in there, what's called Trill, and gathering support. It's all very intense, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I like kind of like politics stuff like this when it's done well in terms of like pacing and getting the information across.
Yeah.
Like, did you say you started watching Clone Wars?
Yeah, I just watched like 2 episodes or 3. It wasn't that interesting to me. I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay, no, because Clone Wars I feel is one of the few shows that have really made like politics very interesting and believable. So like within this Star Wars, like everyone always complains about it with Phantom Menace and stuff.
Yeah.
But in that show, it's like, oh, so interesting. Like all the economic factors about things. Like they're gonna like change the law so that they then can take more loans from the banking clans. And then it's like, so interesting. So along with all of this, like, well, yeah, it kind of goes a little Game of Thronesy with it too, with like like the what would you call it, like the backdoor politics or something,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and like all the things like there's the official things happening in the Senate, and then it's all the secret decisions made in the back, like behind the what's it called? I'm thinking What's the boss behind the veil?
Oh, behind the curtain.
Curtain, that's the word. So, but yeah, like stuff like this, it's just interesting because it's all about people and their intentions.
Or
and
in
their
this case, vinelings.
hey, there are people too. Just six-eyed and the weird tusks or whatever they are.
Pincers.
Pincers.
And they probably have small dicks.
I'm a bit disappointed that they seem to be more or less what's called mammalian, I guess. You know, what's called male and female reproduction. Not just I feel that's something. Of course, you know, the more alien things are, the harder it is to relate to them. But I don't know. I love the Namekians from Dragon Ball, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just what's called single sex organisms that it seems like everyone can like just spew eggs from their mouths.
Yeah.
Again, just interesting. Like, because yeah, why would all these other species be the same?
Well, I mean, dude, how what is it? Speciest are you? I mean, just because these have, you know, male female parts, you know, doesn't mean that all aliens have those male female parts. Just the ones that we've seen so far. And actually, in what was it, Ivar Tywalker, we had a dinosaur that was not obviously female.
Oh, but it's a different thing, though. They were still, you know, like a male-female reproduction, I'm assuming.
Not necessarily.
Well, unless there's other things involved other than the...
I don't know, dude. I mean, come on.
Well, let me
What are
find
we
out how
talking about
dinosaurs reproduced.
Oh, Jesus. Probably the same way that reptiles do in our time.
No, but would it be because they were more like actually related to birds or something?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Or certain species of them, like the two-legged ones, the wyverns?
Going completely off of that because whatever. I just found out where I saw the bloodshot as Valiant's first official statue.
Yeah.
It was in this volume. I literally just kind of moved over to the next issue and I just saw the ad that I saw for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see it now too. That would be cool to have. I should get one. I should get one for work down on my desk.
Oh yeah. But before we move on to the next issue, let's take a minute to thank our sponsors. This episode is sponsored in part by Omen Enterprises, the leader in genetic medicine that still can't save you from an exploding phone in the face.
Personal security have you down? Unsure of what files and media you own that have been tampered by Vine plantlings? For $2.99 a month, we'll have Ninjak and Exo Manowar dispose of any nasty Vine that may be producing your sensitive information. Go to our website to find out more.
Issue 45. Eric continues his massacre through the Vine base, and Ninjak rushes to help him. The two aides of Trill start killing the Vine in the base that are in their mind place with all the other Vine. Trill uses this to show all the remaining Vine that Eric is killing them during prayer, which they deem sacrilege. Jacqueline has planned to pin the killings on Eric by killing her counterpart and then killing herself. With a well-placed shuriken, Ninjak stops Jacqueline from killing herself and captures her instead. Trill banishes the High Priest from the mind space, and the remaining Vine attack the Visigoths. Everyone gets ready to fight, and Eric and Ninjak are called to come back home.
Shit's getting intense.
Shit is getting intense indeed.
I think something I came to thinking about, though, with the whole, I guess, mission in this volume. Again, it makes sense and all, but I think part of what I kind of feel a bit, what would the word be? just a bit underwhelming, I guess. It's just like one long, kill X amount of Y.
Yeah, it feels like an MMO thing,
Yeah,
like a
just kind
mission.
of, okay, kill, 50
Kill 20
vinelings.
this. Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, cool. I mean, makes sense, lore
It's
wise.
like in Shadows of Mordor when they want you to kill a certain amount of people and they kind of tell you where they are specifically. So you kind of like, yeah, you have to kill like 50 orcs, and then you run from one space where a lot of orcs are. Then you run to once you clear those out, you just run to the next one and kill those.
Mm.
And I mean, it just feels like, yeah, there's just no effort here. It feels like he's just walking in and stomping on a bunch of cockroaches and then moving on to the next place where more cockroaches are. I don't know, it just feels so weird. And honestly, I think a lot of this whole planning is just to pad out the comic, because I always feel like if the main guy is constantly just evading the heroes and just sending his goons in the way, that's the kind of stuff that you do for long long-winded TV shows where you
Mm.
have to kind of pad everything out until the finale. And it kind of feels like the same way here. I mean, they could have just found him right away and just gone down to him right away, or I don't know. I mean, just because there's just no effort shown from. It's just so easy for the two of them to just hack and slash their way through all these vinelings. I mean, this would be a perfect thing for a Warriors game. What are those called?
Oh, yeah, those Dynasty Warrior games.
Dynasty Warrior games. Yeah, this could be Valiant Warriors.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
No, but that's what I mean, and that's what I meant with sort of like this whole video game feel to it. Because whenever you have like a story in a video game, you always have to put these well, challenges. I mean, a badly done game will have it just be cutscenes and then have some game. But they tend to want to arrange things so that there's always something to do. Like it's not just, oh, here's the guy, like here's Trill. It's no, you gotta go to these different places and kill these guys, and then the final boss appears. And again, nothing inherently wrong. That's because I don't feel it all makes sense. I feel within the story, but like you said, it is a bit of a like filler, like dragging it out. Also, apparently, Tony Stark is a plantling.
What?
No, I just felt that one guy who's the first guy who gets killed. So like the
First
sleeping
guy.
ones. I don't know. He has a bit with the beard and stuff and a little goatee.
Have you seen Tony Stark? He doesn't have a full beard.
Yeah, no, but like it's not a full beard, just a little bit, like with a goatee. Yeah.
I think we're looking at a different guy.
Yeah, no, the first guy to be killed by the like Jacqueline.
Oh, by Jacqueline. Okay, I thought you meant by
Yeah, that big bearded guy in the beginning. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no. No, I wouldn't mind seeing an AU or something with that with lumberjack Tony Stark.
Lumberjack Tony Stark.
He's a leading manufacturer of lumber. And then makes a big lumber suit. I don't know why I found that so funny, seeing him going around in a wooden suit. So, and again, there's some nice drama within this. I mean, as they kind of mention, this is like a very awful thing to do within Vine culture. I mean, you're at your most vulnerable there. We know ourselves from that Imperium issue when Harada had kidnapped that one Vine plantling, and he was experimenting on him. And you could like see his mind in the gathering, like screaming in pain.
Yeah.
So this is like really, I don't know, it's kind of like, wow, they really, care for this cause so much that they'll kill their own.
Well, just a typical false flag operation. It's nothing new. I also don't really understand how that whole thing works with like, I will banish you now. And then everyone's just like, yep, banished. And he's just like, no. It's like a permaban on the chat room.
Well, I like to see it as talk to the hand.
I just love, I'm sorry, but I know that they're speaking Vine or whatever. But I think it's just so hilarious how when they translate it to English, they still use the, I don't know if you would call it, I don't know if we should call it the German word or the Yiddish word or
the
whatever it is.
verboten.
Yeah. It's just like, now I just want to see Trill as just like this old Jewish man. Like just get some sort of whatever one of those famous old Jewish comedians is and have him play Trill.
Yeah, no,
Hospa.
I don't know. I mean, the only work of fiction I've seen that's discussed that was Doctor Who. With David Tennant episode when they go to Pompeii.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I forget what's her name. It's not Rose. It's the third companion he has there. Doris? No, not Doris. Anyway.
Oh, it's the one that he has to like take the memory away from, right?
Yes, exactly. I can't remember her name, but either way, she questions that because he mentions that the TARDIS automatically translates everything.
Yeah.
So when she asks, wait, so I'm speaking Roman, I'm speaking Latin. So yeah, but what if I say something Latin while speaking Latin? Oh, I don't know. Try. And I remember very clearly the first thing she tries is go like Veni, Vidi, Vici.
And then it's like it was in Greek or something like that they
I think
translated.
Welsh was the thing or something. Like,
right, Welsh. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's fun. Like not important. It just. But it's also like anything else, like we've mentioned. Like anytime, I don't never cared for it. Like I was never bothered. But anytime in something like My Little Pony, for example.
It's Donna.
Donna, I was right with the D.
Donna Noble. Yeah. So anyway, yep.
No, but like with something like My Little Pony, where it's a totally different world with its own rules and customs. And then any mention of a real world thing. And it's suddenly, oh my god, this is like in the future, or... Again, some people will take it super far, and most people will just be kind of like, I guess, shit posting about it. But that's the thing; we're writing it for humans, for humans in our time.
Mm-hmm.
So the writer there, I'm not gonna say it's a lapse of judgment, like he made a mistake, but it's like, oh yeah, I just want to get a good word or like verboten, sounds stronger than just saying you're forbidden or exiled.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, they could have just said you're banished. Or, they say it later then again, but I don't know. I always just think it's so weird when, it's like that thing when, I'm not a huge fan of when people keep their, like they try to speak in their native language by adding it into English. You know what I mean? Like I don't really like it when people mix their words. Obviously I have no say in this about like, oh, you shouldn't do this because that's weird. Obviously language can evolve as it does, but I always think it's so weird when people come in and they use the words that everyone knows again, you see it a lot in like American television with like the Spanish who come in and be all
hey
like,
there,
hey,
my amigo.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, just say my friend. We understand that you're Mexican or whatever, and
I wasn't quite sure till he said amigo.
yeah, the sombrero and the mustache didn't really make sense yet, but
or
the
the
amigo,
Germans, what's going on? When you're a German guy, you have to have the accent and also then constantly have some German words interlocked.
Yeah, I understand if there's something.
Nine. This whole thing is verboten.
Yeah.
It's like, why not say it's forbidden?
Yeah, exactly. Or yeah, I understand if it's supposed to be a character that doesn't know English that well, but then it has to be a thing where they try to find the word. Yeah,
like we do all the time.
Yeah, we do that all the time because we're trilingual, both of us.
Yeah, no, it was a constant thing. But I guess it's kind of depending on the character, if you want them to be what's called, I guess, confident or on top of things.
Yeah.
Like, again, not to say that if you're trying to find a word, like, oh, that means you're an idiot, but it does kind of like stop things in the track of the conversation. You know?
But I mean, I understand it if you don't have a word for it in the language. Like, I mean, obviously, there's like Germans like to use Schadenfreude, or how they would say it, Schadenfreude, um, because there's no way to describe that in English, like in a single word.
Oh,
And I understand that.
oh yeah,
But
there's a
when you
lot of
say,
words that we then adopt from other languages.
yeah, and I think that's fine, but I think like a lot of these kind of Yiddish words that I mean, again, it's just all these stereotypes that you see, like, the New York Jew and the Mexican gardeners and stuff like that. Um, you know, it's just like this kind of thing that you kind of see that, and then people kind of adopt it because it's like, oh well, this is cool. This is how they speak on television. I'm going to speak like this too.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
mean, well, not responsible, but guilty of that myself. You know, I love
Oh
saying
yeah,
Yiddish things like "oy vey." Like,
and you're like not even anywhere close to being a Jew.
so yeah, no, but exactly, it's that kind of thing there where it's like, you know, the culture is present there,
Hmm.
so it feels weird to. Again, I can understand all these arguments about like, you know, with with what's called an African American vernacular English. So like I understand why they'd be like annoyed, you know, when the white
Yeah.
people start copying. Like that South Park sequence.
Yeah.
So chef, how did you know how do you black people do it when white people start copying you? We just try to stay a step ahead. And I can't remember the whole sequence because yes, it's
Yeah.
a
Something about it,
flippity
the
floppity
his
flip.
house. Like it was like, we used to say his house for house, and then white people started saying that, so we said it in the hizzy, and then they started saying in the hizzy, so we started saying the his house or whatever it was, and then we called it the flippity floppity floop.
And then ending with them actually saying that too. Come on, Mr.
Yeah.
Slave, let's go to our flippity floppity floop. Oh, don't say it like that. No, but that's the thing. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong in of itself, but I don't blame it. You know, it's like the whole kind of like you know, like fake geeks and stuff.
Hmm.
You know, it's like we all be like, "Ah, you didn't read the comics. You know, don't come here and act like you've been a fan of Black Panther all your life."
No, but it's just one of those things where I feel like it's a thing that people do in television and in comics and stuff like this to very quickly tell you what the character is, like who the character is.
Mm.
I mean, that's a typical thing. I mean, that's why so many people rely on stereotypes in comedies and in shows and all that kind of stuff, because you need to quickly establish who this character is. So then it's easy to have this ultra like stereotypical German guy come in, using a German word every now and again and having a heavy Nazi accent. But that's what I mean. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's not reality, and then people copy what they see on TV and think like, oh, that's how Germans have to sound, or that's how this has to be, and then they start putting it into more serious stuff, and then just keeps copying itself until, yeah, it's just weird.
Well, again, not to say that Hellboy 2 is serious, but that's a
Oh
great
God.
example of that, where they actually had an actual German actor doing the voice for. I can't remember the character's name.
No. Wait, who are you talking about?
That what's called like gas guy in the.
No.
No, they started
That,
with him, but then they replaced him with Seth MacFarlane.
yeah, that's what I was saying. That was Seth MacFarlane,
That's what I mean. They started with a German actor, but
and they're like, it doesn't sound German enough.
exactly they wanted to. And honestly, with the comedic like tone of the movie, I felt it worked better having like the whole parody kind of voice. Like again, I don't know how he sounded before. Like if he just sounded like kind of vaguely German, speaking English.
Like what was his name? Werner Herzog.
I suppose I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, it's that documentary filmmaker.
All right, but yeah, like sure, even if there is an accent, it's not the accent. Like you'll sometimes have like
It's not the one we see in the Tarantino movies.
exactly. And of course, you got to be careful too. Even if they are accurate accents, they might just be annoying. Like, remember when we watched that episode of The Story of Film?
No.
There's this documentary, really good documentary series about, well, the history of film. And it's some Dutch guy
Oh yes, I remember that. Oh my god.
Such a weird voice, like
Yes.
very droning, very.
Yes.
I'll see if I can put a clip on the show notes. I'm sure there's a clip on YouTube.
Yeah, or maybe you can even cut it into it right now.
With all its talk of box office, the film business would have us believe that money drives movies.
But yeah, it's. But again, it's his real voice, so it's hard. You can't really complain. I mean,
yeah, but that's so typical of like a lot of auteurs. I mean, they have a lot of auteurs in the documentaries area, and they could probably just be like, no, this is my thing, and I need to make it, and I need to be the voice of it. So I think that was probably what it is. It's just this guy who just does not have a voice acting voice, and then he insists that he's the one. Because again, Werner Herzog is also one of those things where he also has, I mean, you can Google that too, the Werner Herzog voice. It's a very iconic voice. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good voice for documentaries, and a lot of people make fun of it. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
Anyways.
Let's move on to the last issue of this volume.
Issue 46. Fighting breaks out in the Visigoth kingdom as Vine attack, now under the influence of Trill. The Armorine commander manages to save the Divine Priest and Sana from the Vine attacking them, but those two decide to confront them near the end. Exo Manowar manages to arrive in time to try and stop all the violence, but Trill confronts him and the two argue. After a last pledge for peace from Auric, Trill hits him, leading to more fighting amongst everyone. Everything going to hell, with it only getting worse with the sudden appearance of the Old Gods, first mentioned in Volume 3. Holy giant space fish out of nowhere, Batman!
Space fish?
Well, I don't know, like space whale or something. Just, suddenly big celestial creature appearing.
Oh, okay. I was like wondering, like, what the hell did I miss?
Yeah, no, these like giants. Again,
yeah, so what are they?
The first time I read this, I was like so like thrilled.
Really?
Well, I remember them from Volume 3, so.
Oh, I don't even remember them.
Again, it's right before Auric arrives on the Vine home planet. Like before that, we get to see like this lecture made by the priest, and we see like the imagery of it all. How the Vine were oppressed by these giants until Shanhara appeared, which then apparently deflected them.
Oh, okay.
So we only got to see them as like sort of like these ornamental illustrations. Again, a really cool thing. And when I saw them here, it was like, because I tend to remember these things. So I was just kind of like, holy shit, it's the thing from the before.
Oh man, how do you do that? Like,
again, I don't remember practical things like people's birthdays. So
yeah, true.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. But yeah, for me that was just like really cool, and just like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, I can't remember the details of what happens next. So so I'm not gonna spoil. But at the present, like just from what we're seeing here, it does seem like the typical cop-out with these kinds of stories. You have two sides fighting. Oh wait, but here's a bigger enemy. Let's join together.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
It always feels like such. I mean, again, I don't mind it. It's kind of fun seeing like two enemies, joining forces.
Martha.
But I don't know. It never feels like it solves the problem. Like I would really like to see a true solution to like a situation like this, like within fiction.
No, but that's the thing. It is a cop-out. That's all it is. Because it's just like, they get to this point and they're like, oh God, we can't figure this out. We can't finish it anymore. What do we do? What do we do? And then you have this celestial being come down. And that's the thing. Like, you can have them fight together to beat the bigger enemy. And then they look at each other. And then like, it's going to be Eric and Trill looking at each other and going like, you're not that bad. And then they shake hands and they kind of like mutually scoff and then fly off in different directions. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like one of those things where it's just like, catch you next time.
Yeah, again, it's just the whole thing. I mean, like I said, I like the lore part of it. Because again, it's not like if they didn't have that in volume 3, it would be even worse. And I guess for you, it might have been just as bad because you didn't remember.
Well, I mean, for me, they're just a weird little thing that appeared.
Yes, these human Cyclops guys.
They remind me of something, but I'm not quite, I don't know what, because my memory's so bad.
I don't know, Cyclops or...
Nah, I don't know. Maybe those little machine things, those mutant hunting things in X-Men.
Oh, yeah, the Sentinels.
Yeah, the Sentinels. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cool thing, but as you said, it definitely, when you said that whole thing, like where we don't know how to end this,
Yeah.
is like, yes, that is exactly true. There's like, how, if they didn't appear, like, how do you end this without it? Because we've already had everyone give speeches, so I don't think like Ara can manage a speech that will make everyone stop now. And I don't think it would work if he kills Trill by itself.
Yeah.
Like, sure, one source of all the hatred would disappear, but
it's not like everyone else is going to lay down their arms and be like, okay, we're good now.
And if he then ends with him like killing all the Vine,
right? You don't want to have that either with your hero. You don't want your hero being like executing or what is it, eliminating or exterminating? That's the word. An entire people.
Except for all the ones that he did earlier in the volume.
Shh. No, because that's not exterminating an entire species.
Yeah.
That's just exterminating a certain group of people. Ah, shit.
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. So it really feels.
What is the opposite of Deus Ex Machina?
Oh, I don't know if it's like a proper official term, but I have seen it on the TV tropes.
Yeah.
I think they call it Devil Ex Machina or something.
Ah.
So,
what would the Latin be for devil?
I don't know. I think they want to keep devil so it kind of gets a deo, like the little alliteration.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So, but yeah, I can't remember any example of it, but yeah, it's any time where I'm not sure if it's when things are shit and then it gets more shit, or if it's when things are great and then it goes to shit. But I guess it should be when things are shit and go to more shit, because otherwise there's no like ex machina to be necessary, I guess. I mean, if things are fine, then it's more of an inciting incident.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a good example of it though, except that one thriller movie, the Lake Eden.
Never heard of it.
It's one of the few films I've seen that are like really upsetting. Like to just like a couple go to this like it's a British film.
It actually is Diabolos Ex Machina.
There we go, perfect. That worked with alliteration too.
So yeah, continue and then I'll give you an example.
Yeah, no, but in Lake Eden, then this like British couple go to this titular Lake Eden for like a vacation. But it's kind of like off in the, I guess, the equivalent of the boonies or whatever in England. And they keep getting harassed by these like teens. Like, it starts off as just like, jerks, just playing loud music and harassing them. But at one point they then steal their car, like while they're swimming, and then they have to like walk through like the forest to like barefoot and stuff, and they come across their little hideout with the car. And it's so upsetting seeing like a grown man not having any power, and these like juvenile delinquents just it's like so awful. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And by the end of the film, you kind of feel like, okay, finally something's like it's all resolved.
Yeah.
And then it's like, holy shit, fuck. So what was your example?
I'm just kind of looking for one that kind of everyone that would be related to this podcast. So I found one in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So apparently, I'm just going to read out what it says on TV tropes. Harry Osborn in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has been a persistent figure throughout the film and successfully executes a plan to get back at Oscorp for screwing him over. However, shortly before the climax, he injects himself with the venom of the spider that bit Peter, and it has bad effects, to say the least. He straps himself into an experimental powered armor, then hunts down Spider-Man. After putting 2 and 2 together, he realizes that Spider-Man is Peter Parker and understands that an earlier slight he suffered at the hands of Spider-Man meant that he was being slighted by Peter, someone he thought was a friend. He snatches Gwen, flies up to the top of the tower, the clock tower, and the rest more or less writes itself. Really, aside from setting up future story arcs, his sudden appearance is solely so Peter can wind up grieving the death of Gwen and rebuilding his heroic resolve. Therefore, because he had no otherwise served a greatly different purpose for most of the movie. That made no sense.
I guess I think I understand it then.
Yeah, but there's also one here. Where was it? Cloverfield. The 3 surviving protagonists get on an evac helicopter heading out of New York before a massive bombing run to obliterate the beastie. But Clovey takes down the helicopter, eats HUD, and forces the last 2 to take shelter under a bridge, awaiting annihilation in the impending bombing run. So basically, it just seems like, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily seem like it's an unfair thing, but it seems like just when everything goes to shit.
Well, like I said.
Yeah.
I think it's more when it is that moment, like the moment of, okay, now things can either work out or it won't. And I guess that's the point where, the decision becomes whether it's a Deus Ex or a Diabolos Ex.
I think it would be interesting. I mean, obviously they would never do this, but wouldn't it be so hilarious if you literally had an entire volume of just, instead of these creatures coming down, instead of that just having Eric and Trill just beating each other up?
Oh, so like the death of Superman.
Seriously?
Well, that's like the issue where he dies is just one issue of splash pages of them hitting each other.
Oh my god, how shitty.
No, but it's kind of cool. Again, I haven't read it all, but apparently leading up to it, it actually, like the amount of panels per page decreased per issue up to that instance.
Okay.
In the final issue, it's just splash pages, because it's like the big splash. The issue before that is all like 2 panels per page. Before that is like 3 panels. So it's kind of like a countdown kind of thing. Like it slowly gets what's called less deconstructed. And it just becomes like final, like the just pure primal energy. I don't know, I think it's kind of like a cool idea. But again, it's one of those things that works on a meta level.
Yeah.
But yeah. But like we've said a lot with a lot of recent volumes, it's just the continuing story.
Exactly. I mean, it's not amazing. It's not blowing my mind, but it's not bad either. It's just like all right, this is par for a course. This is good.
Like this would really be more of like a free arc story, I guess, or like free volume. It would be the previous one, Exodus, this one, and then the next volume. Because that kind of has the whole story, really.
Yeah.
It's like I'd also say the same thing. Like honestly, like the first 5 volumes, I'd say, of X-O Manowar is its first full arc as well. Because there's just no break, really. It just goes on and on and on, like in a good way. But it just doesn't like it's hard to say like, oh yeah, I really like Enter Ninjak on its own, when it's really just another portion of a story.
Yeah.
And even though this one tried to have its theme of the kill list, as we discussed earlier, it just wasn't really all that interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't at all. It was just like, oh, they're here. Okay, let's go kill. Oh, they're here. Let's go kill. There was no, it felt more like, as I said, it was more of just padding out the pages to show what Trill is doing, like to show his part of the plan.
Exactly. You don't even get like the kind of more interesting portion of like the Ninjak volumes, with the Shadow 7.
Right.
Or at least it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like a, unique boss fight each time. Like here it's just mooks, and more mooks. And there's no challenge either, You only have like the inherent challenge with Ninjak. Just like with any Batman story. That it does get hit, it hurts.
Yeah, but even then, he's not going to get hit. That's the thing.
Yeah, but at least there's lip service to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I always think of that line from South Park with the Star Trek nerds. time travel is no laughing matter. 4 times the Star Trek Enterprise traveled back in time, and 4 times they almost didn't make it back.
Right.
Again, not about the time travel part, but story convention. Like, there's drama, sure, it is exciting. But, dude, it's just someone deciding that they make it. Like, we know that Ninja's gonna be fine. We know he has several more volumes going on.
Of course.
But I think the real problem here was the fact with Auric, because this is really like if Superman and Batman were doing a similar thing. Like, let's say they weren't killing them. But it just kind of feels like, really, Superman? You're just kind of going around and there's like nothing. Like, not even like little kryptonite, barriers or something. Like, not even like a thing where they would say, like, which I think could have been cool, just to give a little bit of tension. Like, maybe one of Vine Plantlings maybe has managed to get a hold of one of those armor hunter spears.
Yeah.
Again, not like it should be like a big thing, like, oh, let's stop the presses. But something to kind of give the sense of, oh, okay, I actually have to be careful here. But whatever.
So what would you rate this for this volume?
Again, it's always hard to say with that stuff, but so like if I use the sort of like the free, like the 3-point system, like I mentioned before, the idea of like red light, yellow light, green light. Definitely green light. Because why would you skip this if you read everything else?
Yeah, true. I mean, I would give it a green light, but I would only give it 3 stars out of 5.
I think I'm on the same fence there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like there's nothing because again, you still want to read it.
Yeah.
The quality in of itself is like, it's fine. It's just not like, even artwork wise, it's perfectly fine. The guy is great, I think. What's his name? I want to say Raul, or was it Robert? Ah, man, where's... Okay, Robert Gill, so it wasn't Raul.
Okay. Yes.
But wasn't that far off? I mean, we had so many Spanish people on this.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Robert Gill, it's just... I think it's what you would say is like this kind of nice standard.
Yes, that's the standard, yeah.
You like this kind of stuff where it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's inked, it's, shaded... And again, it's very nice. There's no no doofy faces or anything, or odd things. But at the same time, I don't remember seeing anything that was like super impressive.
Yeah.
Like even nice moments like him, flying up with Capshaw, or I guess I will mention in issue 45 when Auric descends into... Oh, no, wait, the issue 44. When he descends into the stronghold by, jumping off the helicopter or by the ninjet. It's kind of a cool page, like splash page there. So we're just like, you see this thin line from the sky and then just, boom! Just using, I guess, the gravitational... Just using gravity itself to slam through.
Yeah.
So again, that's a nice moment. But I guess, like, draftsmanship-wise, I don't really see anything out of the ordinary. And I mean this in the most positive way, Robert. It's just, you're just so good that there's nothing really to mention. It's just very skilled, very standard. And in the good kind of standard. Like, nothing's wrong, nothing's bad. It's just great. But it just doesn't excel anywhere from what I noticed.
All right, well, with that, I guess we are finished for this episode. A little thing, of course, at the end. The Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe has been set a release date. It's the end of April. I think it was April 26th, if I remember correctly, or something like that. April 16th, maybe? I don't know. Either which way, Humphrey and I will be going through each episode one by one or all at once. We are not quite sure yet. Maybe we'll make one mega episode where we have everything. He and I will still discuss that, but be sure that we will be bringing out a reaction to it, and we will be discussing every episode. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on that end. Anything else to add, Humphrey?
No, sir.
All right, then. You can discuss this episode on Reddit, tweet us, or you can follow us on Facebook. Also, all of our episodes are available on our hosting site Podbean. Links are in the show notes. Catch us next time for
Faith, Volume 1, Hollywood and